show is Conversations and is reaching you from the studios of the Nigerian Television Authority, the NTA. And I am Elizabeth Abai. You know what we do here is to chat, discuss, munch it, masticate, whatever it is, whatever topic. But then we know within this period, it is the COVID or coronavirus, we call it COVID-19 pandemic. We are going to be looking at certain issues around that. We've heard a lot about antibodies, donation of such things. We don't know what it is, but we have someone who is fighting COVID-19 from the UK, London precisely. He will be joining us on the show to, talk to us more about the experiences there, and then what we can do in Nigeria to equally get it right. That is Dr. Chidi Ubaka. He'll be joining us from UK via Skype. But within the house, I know that Ruth is with us. Ruth, I'll let you describe yourself. Who is Ruth?
Oh, my name is Ruth Dumade, a family clinician and a mind coach. This is what I do.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Doc, how is London today?
Well, London is fine. It's warm and it's bright.
The last time you came on this show, it was live and we enjoyed you. You talked a whole lot about fertility and we still have piles of questions waiting for you. And a lot of people who want to speak with you one-on-one, they are waiting for you. Now you're saying COVID-19 is holding you back in London. We're waiting for it to be over. We believe it will be soon. And then you come back and attend to what you already started. But speaking of COVID-19, what's the situation like in London?
Well, it's calming down now. COVID-19 was increasing as at mid-March. But it's been around since January. That it was gradual until mid-March because of what was happening in Italy. And the UK was 2 weeks behind. So the lockdown came into effect on the 23rd of March. But I will explain some of the things that we look at to decide whether the lockdown should be eased or not, which is called the R value. At the moment, R value in the UK is between 0.7 to 0.9. So what that means is that if one person gets infected with COVID-19, he will pass it to 0.9 person. So if R is 1, then that means if one person gets the infection, then he will likely pass it to one person. If R is 2, one person gets the infection, it passes it to 2 people. If R is 3, one person gets the infection, it passes to 3 people. And then the 3 people will pass to 9 people, and then the rest is snowballs. So at the moment, things are calming down, and the UK is reopening on the 1st of June, which is Monday, because the R level is now below 1.
Okay, in reopening, you mean the schools will equally open? Everything is
good? Yes, the schools will not be reopened, the shops will not be reopened, but it will be stepwise. That's what they call the gradual stepwise reopening. Because if everything reopens too quickly, people who have been on lockdown for 9 weeks, they will all go and the R level will just shoot up. So it has to be gradual relaxation of the lockdown. So starting with schools, got the people in primary school and the people in Form 6.
It's always like 2 to 4 weeks. Is it because of a window period of manifestation of symptoms? I don't know.
If someone comes in contact with COVID, he doesn't have symptoms for 2 weeks. And then if he starts showing symptoms, then the first week, he starts having either the fever or the cough. But actually, the latest information we have now is that the symptoms are now, it comes in different ways. Actually, yes, I will see people who lost their sense of taste and smell. We didn't know it's COVID. So the first week is when they have the real infection. The second week, the infection starts peaking in the person. That's the symptoms. And then the third week is recovery. If someone is going to develop the serious form of COVID, it's in the second week. And this is why they said if you get exposed, self-isolate for 2 weeks. Well, if you have symptoms, self-isolate for 1 week. During that 1 week, that will decide whether the person will go into hospital or not. If the person has mild symptoms, second week is not recovery. if the person is getting a complicated one, it's the second week those things start manifesting. But if you live in the house with someone, the whole family will have to self-isolate for 2 weeks. Because that is the time it takes for anyone that has been exposed to start having symptoms.
All right. Ma'am Ruth, you're in Nigeria. I know that within this lockdown period, you've been very busy with coaching of people. What's Nigerians' mindset with regards to this gradual ease?
Okay, to be sincere with you, Nigerians are so resilient. They are so strong and dogged people. However, there are some that have been coming up with panic attacks, anxiety, stress. Some persons are already depressed this season. So for the past 5 weeks or so, I and some friends, I'm volunteering with some organizations too. We've been doing online counseling. Like, in fact, before I came here, I had already done a 1-hour session with another client. So we've been volunteering doing this. So a lot of persons that have been calling this season, they've been afraid, anxiety, stress, depression. That is what has been happening. So for some persons, it's really real. Oh, for some other persons, it may not necessarily be about the COVID. It may just be the stress associated with how they have to isolate, how they have to be indoors, the stress with family and other things. So that is what I've been seeing for the past weeks.
What kind of question beyond stress? What kind of questions do they come up with that you think they have fears?
Okay, you see, what happened is that we have a system. What we do is, okay, you apply. Oh, I want to talk to a counselor, a therapist, a psychologist, or a counselor basically. So they not ask you to just fill a form. What is the issue? And you say, oh, I've been having fears. I've been afraid. I don't sleep well. I don't eat well. So such kind of thing. So they now move you to the counselor. They fix a time with you and the counselor. They send your name and all your details. So they give you a time, you call. When you call in, now we have step-by-step questions we just have to ask. Oh, as simple as, how are you doing today? In a scale of 1 to 10, how do you feel?
I'll tell you 1.
Oh, so I'm actually say the one I finished with some hours ago, she said 3. I'm not fine at all. So after they say that, you could now want to explore that feeling. What is happening to you, or what is going on your mind while you're saying you are just 2, you're just 3. So as we start exploring, they start opening up. And sometimes when we start tracing it down, some is just as a result of so many backlog of work or issues that they've not dealt with. With the COVID, it now expanded the anxiety the more. So
yes. But I was listening to the BBC the other time, Doctor, and I, even though I've heard it a lot of times said about antibodies, but I noticed that the Londoners are quick to donate antibodies. I really want to know, how does this work? What is this antibodies with regards to COVID, and how does it work? Because people are giving it freely.
Yes. If someone has an infection, the body produces a protective some chemicals to neutralize that infection. And those protective chemicals are called antibodies. So if COVID is a virus, it could be a virus, it could be a bacteria, it could be anything. If it goes into somebody's blood system, the body reacts in a way to try and fight what that comes into it that doesn't belong to the body. And this thing is seen like a foreigner, it's called antigen. And then what the body now does is to deploy, we call it the soldiers that protect the body. And these are in the form of antibodies. They now go to those where those viruses are, or the foreign agents that comes into the bloodstream, and they fight those and neutralizes it and kills it off to protect the body. So that is what gives him the name antibody.
More like immunization that we do for children. I don't know. Is it the same thing?
Sorry, yes.
Is it more like immunization?
Yeah, but you know the immunization, vaccinations we give children is for them to produce antibodies against the killer disease. So those vaccines are given in the form of altered particles from that particular organism that causes the infection. So they break the organism, and maybe it's the shell that they now use to produce those vaccines. So that is why we say give all the children HIV immunizations because they produce antibodies against future infection. So it is the same principle. The only difference here now is people can get antibody produced through vaccination or they can get it produced by infection. So whatever it is the body being exposed to this foreign agent that doesn't belong to the body and it causes the deployment of this antibody to neutralize that agent.
Okay, Doc, by implication, if I have suffered the sickness, I produce I produce antibodies. At the end of the day, I would no longer suffer it again. It means that if I've suffered COVID-19, there's no chances of me, having it again since I already have antibodies. Because some of us here are scared of reinfection.
Yes, a good example is chickenpox. Many people get chickenpox as children, but you only get it once in a lifetime because once that is a virus as well. So once that virus gets into the body of a child, it causes the infection, it causes those spots, the rashes. And after that, the body produces these antibodies that now fight the virus. And then once the virus is overcome, the rashes now disappear, the person gets well. And then the person never gets chickenpox anymore because those antibodies now stay in their bodies for life. The same thing with measles. If people don't get vaccinated with measles vaccine and unfortunately get the measles infection, they fight the virus and produce antibodies that ward off any other exposure to the measles. So this is the way it works.
It's good news knowing that once I go through it, I will not have to go through it again. But I'm wondering, in certain climes, including the United States, they are trying to fast track these antibodies, injecting it in people so that they can fully reopen the economy. Would this have any form of side effect, medically speaking?
Yes. Yes, you see, the idea is because there's no vaccine against COVID. And they haven't got time, and the infection is spreading so fast. The option they have now is to look at people who have had the infection, produce recovered from them, because in those people, those antibodies are there. Just like the principle behind recovery and protection from chickenpox and measles and others. So now what they now did was to expand one. They now went and got all the people who have had symptoms of COVID, tested them for COVID. And if those people tested positive and recovered, then they do another test to check whether those people have produced antibodies, because it's a tricky one. If some people produce enough antibodies to protect the body, some people are not very good at producing these antibodies. So they might produce a low level of the antibodies, in which case that they are not fully protected against another infection of COVID. So, but most people produce a very high level of antibodies. And what they now do is that they now take blood from those people who have the antibodies, the high levels, distill that blood out, remove the red part of the blood, and then leave the white part called plasma. And that is where all those antibodies are. And now, they now use those antibodies. Remember, the antibodies go to fight the virus and kill it. So they go to the people who have severe form of the infection in hospital. It's many people in hospital. You can't give antibodies at all. It's only if the people are either in hospital or in isolation centers where they can give it by two. But before they give the antibodies, they have to test that plasma, from the person that has recovered. You have to make sure it matches with the person they are going to give it, because it's not just one solution that fits all. They still has to go through screening to make sure that those plasma doesn't have any other infection. So, and then once they distill it and get the pure plasma with antibodies that agree with that COVID patient, once you give it to the COVID patient, they develop, they start fighting the virus properly. Those antibodies just go and start fighting the infection in that person. And quickly, the recovery is traumatic. You see the person now starts recovering because he now has the natural defenses, the natural substances produced by someone else that fought the virus in another person. Now those chemicals has gone in and then started fighting the virus in that same patient. And you only give it to people who are really sick and to prevent them going into the intensive care unit, because that's another problem. Yeah. And they also target people whose immune system is not very strong to overcome the virus. So these are people they give preference to giving the antibodies to boost their level of the fighting level of this virus. And there's a very good example. You see, tetanus, the one we call tetanus there. The tetanus has the tetanus toxoid and the tetanus vaccine. So the tetanus toxoid is actually antibody for people who have suffered from tetanus. I'll call it
tetanus, please. What's the right way of calling it?
It's tetanus.
Tetanus. Not tetanus.
Sorry, I'm trying to Nigerianize my. So when the tetanus antibody, because it's been with us for over the years, they've been able to even produce similar antibodies in the lab without having to get it from somebody. So, and I think that is the way forward. With recombinant DNA technology, they're going to produce chemicals that look exactly like antibodies at some point against COVID. But at the moment, they're using the naturally produced antibodies for people.
The people donating these antibodies, do they have any side effects? Or is it like donating blood? I mean, when you donate blood, I'm told your cells produce even better. You benefit more donating your blood. Now, if I need to donate antibody, what's the benefit for me? Or am I going to get sick by donating?
Yeah, no, the benefit is that because it's naturally occurring in some people, other people's body, it was produced by a human being. So the benefit is once it gets given by drip to the person with severe symptoms, the person starts recovering immediately. If it's not well screened, some people might react to that antibody, but it's very, very rare. So yeah, and on the other hand, the other advantage of antibody infusion is, it's readily available because you don't have to get it. The only thing is that you have to have a good blood bank system that screens these things properly, so that people don't get even new infections from polyscreened plasma that contains the antibody. And this is where the health system has to be up and clear and competent to do those screenings. But the recovery is very dramatic. It's very dramatic. And it's not like some other drugs they use, which has helped, because this is something that came from human beings and is being used for another human.
All right, we'll get to talk about the drugs, but sharing your experience, yeah. I'm sure you often have these people calling to ask, is COVID-19 real?
Yeah, some people do call. You see, unfortunately, so many people still don't believe it is real. Now, personally, I haven't seen someone that has it. I'm sure doctor may have seen severally.
Oh, definitely.
You understand? So I haven't. So people keep saying, is it real? Is it not real? I said, let's be more concerned about your prevention. Let's be more concerned about your sanity. Let's be more concerned about your well-being. Let's be more concerned about you being dogged about whether it is real or not real. So some persons do call to say, are you sure this thing is real? I said, I'm not the right person to answer if it's real or if it's not real. My just to counsel you if you're going through any process or any stress this period. Yeah.
Okay. Now, Doc, let me throw it back to you again. I know when you were with us live sometime last year, you talked about, side effects of people who suffer MOMS. When we talked about infertility in men, you mentioned that when men suffer MOMS at a tender age, they grow up, some of them don't get to produce, I don't know if it's semen or quality semen, I don't quite recall. But there has been talks around corner, telling us that when you recover from COVID-19, it gets to settle in your scrotum and probably affect your manhood. How real is this?
No, these are two different things. Yes, it's just like Ebola. Yeah, yes. You see, we give children, one of the vaccines we give children is the one called edema, which is nasal mumps rubella. And if a child is given that vaccine and develop antibody against mumps, it doesn't get mumps. So it produces antibody against. But for children who are lucky to come down with mumps, that mumps, which is a virus as well, can produce some chain reactions in the child's body. The body sees, you see, if I the simple way to explain this is now the body, the virus gets into some child's body. The natural reaction is for the child to produce antibodies. It's a few children, the body overreacts. Instead of attacking the virus, it goes to attack the normal cells. And this is where it goes into the scrotum and finishes the scrotum. And the child now becomes infertile. This all overreact because the antibody now mistakes not just the virus, but certain cells in the child's body. Because these are like soldiers. So they just go and kill some of the fertility producing cells in the child's scrotum. And there is no treatment for that because that child is finished. Will not have will never produce sperm. So we see people who are unable to, conceive. They keep leaving the woman. Remember I mentioned that, and then the woman will go for one test together and God will test himself. Yeah, sometimes doctors do ask, did you have mumps like swollen glands when you were a child? It's one of the things. So, and if somebody suffers from mumps, he produces antibodies. It's just that sometimes some people are unlucky. The antibodies not only finishes the mumps virus, but it goes to finish the scrotal the cells that produce sperm. Now, coming to COVID, what they said is COVID is present in sperm. It's just like Ebola. Ebola is also present in sperm for 60 days. Yeah, so people are saying, oh, can I get COVID through sexual intercourse? It's not been proven because that COVID can still be there. There's no way it has entered the non-blood stream. So, and remember, this virus is still new. So many researches are going on as we speak. So, yeah. So I cannot tell anyone now that you can get COVID through sexual intercourse. I don't think so. Yeah, until a clear study is done to show that is the case. But remember, there are other things, other viruses like hepatitis B. If somebody suffers from hepatitis B, it goes into the bloodstream, it goes into the sperm, and that people can get through sexual intercourse. That is actually 33 times more frequent than even the HIV.
So hepatitis B is sexually transmitted, and as a matter of fact, is even higher than the HIV.
So hepatitis B, 33 times more frequent. People can contract hepatitis B through sexual intercourse than even the HIV they're talking about. So it's very, very so I think in a nutshell, there are viruses that we can transmit through sexual intercourse, like hepatitis B. But for COVID, it's not been proven. The same with Ebola, because what we're going to hear anyway at some point is how long does the COVID stay in the lungs before it dies, or because it's not going to stay there forever. But if someone has had an infection, remember when somebody gets COVID infection, the infection can. I'll probably talk about that now. The infection has, yes, the infection. The way people get that infection is either through their hands, or if somebody sneezes that has the virus, coughs. The way it is that people breathe it through their nose, or it can even go in through the eyes or through the mouth. These are the three areas. And when the virus goes in, some people start having itchy nose. They start itching their nose. You don't know this. The virus is multiplying, and the virus multiplies within minutes. It's multiplied into hundreds. So when you see somebody with COVID infection, he has millions and millions of the virus going into the bloodstream through the nose or through the eyes or through the mouth and attacking the red blood cells that carries oxygen. Now, people start having breathing problems because the COVID pushes oxygen out. That's the one we breathe. It pushes it out, and then it sits on the red blood cells that carry the oxygen. People start suffocating. And if it goes into the lungs, it does this, what we call, it's called hemorrhagic pneumonitis, which is it causes small bleeds in the lungs. And this is where smokers are at high risk. People with weak lungs are at high risk. It goes into that and causes a lot of tiny bleed, and the person will not be able to exchange oxygen. And this is where they now start suffering from shortness of breath. They need ventilation. But ventilation is another problem on its own. So, yeah. So what we're trying to do is to stop people getting into that phase of having to leave the respirator, because if one is intubated, that is the person's breathing has been taken over by a machine. That person is put to sleep, forced sleep. You have tubes going in to give the person oxygen. Now, COVID prevented the person from getting. And then that person is unconscious. He needs a catheter to be able to urinate. Even to go to the toilet, he doesn't even know that he will be producing water stool there as well, only. So the nurses will have to be cleaning that. And then the person on the respirator doesn't know where he is. So his heart and lungs are taken over by a machine. And the hospital intensive care professionals have to know what to do, because this person is now living on a machine. And that is why the elderly people who cannot cope with that stress of ventilation die. And this is why many people die when they go into hospital and end up in the respirator. Because some people are already weak. They are not able to withstand the stress of having to live with that machine for up to 6 weeks. Some people are there 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And that machine will take over the person's body functions until such a time when the body starts producing antibodies. And this is where the doctors will now start to remove the tube and see if the person can breathe on his own. If he can't, they put back the tube. So if the person delays in producing antibodies to fight that virus, then it's probably not going to recover or make it on time. So, and again, obviously, the lucky ones, the people who recover after ventilation, they don't just recover because it's going to take months. You remember where the machine has taken over the person's lungs. The lungs take a long time to heal. It's not even the mental stress, because the person just comes back from a different world, and he has to probably might suffer injuries from the intubation. Remember, intubation is putting pipes down the throat. So it's the trauma around even the ventilation that makes us try as much as possible to stop people even having to go to intensive care, going to being supported in the respirator.
All right, Ruth, the picture he is painting is scary.
Yeah.
It's scary. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll continue. It's scary,
true. I didn't mean to scare you. I didn't say you. It's okay.
Coronavirus where the nickname na COVID-19. It not be big man who sickness, so if it catch anybody, according to World Health Organization, WHO, where then they call WHO, make I show you how the disease they take spread.
Oga travel go abroad, come back with symptoms of COVID-19 infection. As he land for airport, driver go carry and come house. His wife and pikin welcome am. Cook arrange food for Oga. Houseboy and housegirl pack Oga load enter house. Na so Oga begin spread this infection to we people. Driver go mechanic workshop, go spread am. Cook go open market to go buy one or two things. She go spread am too. Even house cleaner go back her house, go spread the same infection. Now so this coronavirus begin take style dey spread from family to we country people.
So therefore, make we join hands obey all the instructions wey government and our medical people don give us. So wash your hands with water and soap regularly, or use hand sanitizer. No go join body for where people gather plenty. Maintain social distancing. Above all, stay una house as government don advise. Stop unnecessary waka about. So make we not spread this virus.
Coronavirus. No be only big man like me they catch you. If it catch anybody, even poor man himself fit to get am. So make we join hand together. Take stop with this deadly disease where they kill our people and they never get a cure.
Together, we go overcome if we do all the things wey dem tell us to do.
All right, if you're just joining us, you miss a bit of it. The doctor has been educating us a whole lot on COVID-19, and we'll still continue from there. We still have Dr. Chidi Ukbaka joining us from UK via Zoom, and my sister Ruth is still with me in the studio. Now, Ruth, we were listening to the doctor just before we called for the break, and I said particularly, it was scary.
Yeah.
And as he was talking, I was tempted to carry my hand sanitizer. I don't know if I'm going paranoid.
It's part of it.
But that's the conversation we should be having, because we must maintain our top hygiene.
Yeah.
You know. But doctor speaking, is there a possibility of a mother, a pregnant woman, infecting the child? And then can we also get COVID-19 via breast milk? These are questions I've been asked, and I'm throwing it back to you. 1, can I transmit to my unborn child? 2, can I transmit via breastfeeding?
Yes, like I said, this virus is new to the world. They don't have much experience. I mean, I have been delivered pregnant women with COVID, but their children tested negative for COVID. No one knows what COVID can do to the unborn child. This is why pregnant women are at a very high risk. Breast milk, there hasn't been a study because at the moment, everything is new. There's so much research going on, and we're not surprised if you have the virus in breast milk. So if a parent, a woman that has COVID, the child out of precaution will probably not have the breast milk, because obviously no one wants to expose the unborn child or the newly born. So yes, it's possible when people are pregnant, some people can get COVID transmitted. Even if it doesn't transmit through the womb, the placenta, it could be during delivery, because of this, know what happens. But most people, if they have COVID, it's probably best to deliver them through a cesarean section, plan. But the doctors also have to be, protected.
It's best done via CS.
Okay. All right. I know that in 2014, you were in Nigeria, and your team fought Ebola and fought it to a standstill. I recall then. I almost didn't want to have a handshake with you when you told me you were fighting Ebola, because I didn't want to be infected. but you survived and all of us survived. I'm wondering, your experience in London, is there anything you think we can also add up to the fight we're having here in Nigeria, the COVID pandemic fight?
Well, the Nigerian government is doing their best. The NCDC, you remember we worked for NCDC during the Ebola time. The NCDC is very good. They're all sending out communicating with the public, and the lockdown, the government, federal government, the state government, they all put things in place. I think it's down to the individuals. I know that obviously people they live in crowded places and they're not able to protect, to stop. They call it the social distancing, where people have to keep 2 meters away from each other, unless they are in a family. So it's down to the individual to take precautions. We know that COVID-19, 80%, most people that have COVID-19 recover. Yes, and that is the good news. Some people actually didn't even know they had COVID-19. But when we tested them, the antibody that they were positive. So they even have COVID-19 without knowing. Unfortunately, if anyone gets malaria now, the first thing that comes to people's mind is it COVID? So, but what we're saying is, people should respect the government advice around COVID-19 because, we're not sure what is happening in the different states. But it's down to the individual to take proper precaution, look after yourself, and finally respect social distancing. Hand washing is very important. When you wash your hand with soap kills COVID-19. So whatever type of soap it is does not matter. So COVID-19 is a weak virus and it's killed by soap and it's killed by sunlight. So yes, so these are the little precautions you do as a person. And then if you have a cough or you're coming outside, put a mask. And when you put the mask, this is extremely important. When you put the mask, the problem with the mask is 5 minutes, 10 minutes into putting the mask, your face will start itching. Remember, that is how people get COVID-19. So when you see somebody putting the mask, he removes it, he puts it back, or it starts itching his eye, then it's 10 minutes. So, and if you go out and you're touching door knobs, you see everybody opens the door. Everybody opens the door. So after touching that door knob, you just go and wash your hand. Wash your hand with soap. Yeah, and so respecting distance, surfaces that might expose you to COVID-19, covering your mask, and when you cover your face with a mask, I know that most people after 30 minutes, they start sweating, and the tendency is just to remove the mask. Yeah, but when you have to do that, remove the mask from behind the ear, not touching it in front of your face, because obviously that will even spread the virus. The person can get infected.
I see some people where it's halfway, they pull it down, hang it at the chin. Maybe they want to talk, they pull it down. Then when they are done, they pull it back up. What does that mean?
Yeah, they're just playing with the mask. I mean, these are all risky habits that will even lead them to COVID-19. It's not just covering your face with mask. So yes, and then people should not share masks. You don't go and if you use one mask, if it's possible, you can throw it away and get a new one. Yeah,
Doc, in some quarters I've heard, I don't know if you have experienced it, that if you enter a public taxi here in Nigeria and you don't have a face mask, the driver will offer you one. You use it while you're there. And at the point of destination, when you're paying, you return the mask to the driver. And of course, he's going to offer the same mask to the next, a customer that comes into the taxi. The next passenger gets this thing. And I don't know. So it's the practice I've heard people say they do and all that.
Yes, and again, this is why I'm actually sending the message. if somebody hasn't got, it's better not to use a mask than to use a contaminated one. Yeah, so it's if you give someone, if one person uses a mask, it must be thrown away. Don't ever give the mask back to the taxi driver, because the tendency is that if he runs out of mask, he might be sharing mask, and then this is how the infection will just be going around. It's a very bad infection control habit. You see, when the lockdown is over, that doesn't mean COVID-19 has gone. COVID-19 is probably going to stay to the rest of the year. And obviously, there is also the fear in people and anxiety around COVID-19. And like I said, unless you test somebody, you need to even know whether the person has had it or not. But the most dangerous people are the people who has the virus. They're not showing any symptoms, and they're going around. So everyone is at risk. But you just have to take those basic precautions to protect yourself and protect the family, especially the older ones.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Brett. Let me move to our sister here, Ruth. I know that in the course of your work, you do a lot of talking to women. How are women actually prepared for the total lockdown removal completely? Are we really prepared? Because I've heard a lot of people tell me that it can stick on my hair. Do you get to educate them and all that?
Okay, actually, I haven't actually had any client that is concerned if it will stay on their hair or not, but I just hear people joke about with it. So, to be sincere, everybody is concerned about it. Whether they have so much information or they don't have so much information.
Sometimes too much information.
Yes, sometimes even so much information that it begins to be a problem. Mm-hmm. So now, for people that are about resuming or for those that have already resumed, they are deliberately, because if you have to talk to someone, say, I'm not joking with it though, I make sure I do this. So a lot of women right now, they will just have, even though you don't like wigs, some want to go for wigs. Why some want to go for low cut so that I don't have any need to go to the salon? So people are a little bit concerned. I think I want to say something. I remember I went to the salon one of these days to get something. So when I got there, someone was actually eating something and she got choked. So immediately she got choked, she started coughing. And everybody in the salon just ran away.
Oh, instead of helping her.
Instead of helping. You see, and she was like, why people treating me like this? I don't have any disease. I'm not sick. I'm just coughing. The thing choked me. And all of us were like, okay, sorry about that. And we got water for her to take. So people are conscious, even though they are not talking about it. They are, in fact, at home, my little children, 8, 10. Immediately one person sneezes, the other person is running away. Say, please, don't sneeze to me. Don't sneeze on my direction. They are that conscious.
My brother's children, he was telling me that he sneezed in his bedroom. His kids were with him on the bed. And as soon as he sneezed, they jumped out of the bed and ran away.
Yeah.
And he was like, Amanda, why are you going to say, Daddy, you have COVID?
So everyone is conscious. When I'm male, I'm not sure being conscious is about the gender, whether it's female or male. It's about human being. Okay. So whether you're a child, whether you're a male, whether you're a female, everyone is conscious about it, and everyone is trying to do. It may not necessarily be that everybody's level of information is the same. There are some persons, you could just be passing by either a market or where you see taxi drivers and their colleagues. Some of them, they don't even behave as if this thing is existing. No. Except probably in the midst of conversation, someone now sneezed. Then I remember, okay, this thing is. Do you understand? So some persons are, while some persons are still treating it with levity.
All right. Doctor, you mentioned something when you were talking that it's a sickness or a virus that can easily be washed away, with soap. And then you also it's scared of also a bit of sunlight. Now, we are going into the deep part of the rainy season in Nigeria. What does that portend for us in regards to COVID? I mean, we're going to be losing a bit of the sunlight. humidity-wise. So what does it portend? Do we have hope, or should we do extra caution?
No, no one can stop. If the sun comes out, yes. No one should go chasing sunlight. There are those basic precautions. There are things under our control, which we know we can do to protect ourselves. Yes, it's been found that if we keep to the government guidelines, those advice we get, at least, to protect ourselves. There are things we know we have to do. Then there are other ones. It's been found that if people are low in vitamin D, they tend to get the severe form of COVID. And the black skin takes a bit longer to produce vitamin D from sunlight than lighter skin, like the Caucasian. So Africans, we Africans, a lot of us are actually low in vitamin D. So people can research sources of vitamin D. You can have supplements, even beans, things like beans, rich in vitamin D.
With all the sunshine we have here, we still have low level of vitamin D.
But remember that we have that sunshine, but some people are from into the office, they hardly get exposed to the sun. So people who spend quite some time under the sun, they do have better levels. But it takes a longer time. But and again, you see, you can have the sun, but people are all wrapped up. And yes, I know it's usually the ultraviolet rays of the sun anyway that helps to combat that. So many people are actually surprised how many people get exposed to the sun. Because they leave home early in the morning, they come back at night. And it's just the same. Yes. So when they are home, they are under this, they don't go out. So a lot of people actually are low in that. So there are sources, things like soya is high in vitamin D. I'm not here I don't want to prescribe on national television, but it's just that there are things to do. Not only COVID, but certain vitamins that we lack in our body actually expose us to some other infections, including COVID. So eating healthy, keeping hygiene, basic hygiene. Which is part of it is hand washing. I know some people want to wash hand, they just dip their hand in water, and then they're already eating their hand. I'm not saying this is how you get through COVID, but when you go out and you're shaking people, and somebody might sneeze into the sand, and then the next time, how are you? You shake your hand. And you understand? You don't know what is asking. Exactly. So when you come home, always wash your hand with soap and water before you even start touching kids and everything. I know we're all guilty of it.
You're very correct. When you're very hungry, you don't bother. This time around, we need to.
We need to bother.
On the party note, Ruth, what advice do you have for mothers?
Oh, for mothers. Why are you so particular about the mothers?
I'm one. And the woman is a homemaker, really.
Okay, for all mothers out there, do everything you have to do to take care of the kids, to take care of your husband, to take care of friends and family around. And not only that, try to be a support system to some other fellow woman like you. Try to give a call to a fellow sister. Try to just reach out, because to be sincere, this period, a lot of women are really going through tough time.
Definitely.
Hard moments. I received a call yesterday. Say, oh, my husband is not meeting up to his expectation, and we're at home and nothing is coming in. He's not doing anything, and he's still living the kind of lifestyle he used to live when there was no COVID. That was her concern. And basically what she needed was just someone to talk to. So when she finished talking to me, she said she wanted to do something drastic. But she decided not to do it. She said, let her give me a call. And when I finished talking to her, I said, why don't you just take a deep breath, breathe in and breathe out and relax. I'm sure it's just for a while. It will be over. So she was like, I'm so excited I had to call you right now. And I'm feeling better. I'm not going to do what was on my mind. In fact, that is what another woman needs. So pick up your call, if possible on a daily basis. call
give
a
call.
friend,
All
and
right.
how are you coping? And I'm sure they will really appreciate it.
All right, Doc, you've been trying to say something on the final note.
There's something I want to tell Nigerians. Yeah, and you see, we're all talking about COVID, but some people don't even know what symptoms they have when they get COVID. Yeah. So normally, initially when they start, we say, oh, it's cough, high fever, but actually not. Especially in Africa, people can have COVID by extreme tiredness and joint pain only.
Extreme
You just find yourself so, yes, you just find yourself so tired and you don't know why. That can be COVID for you without even the cough and sneezing and fever. And again, 10% of people with COVID have diarrhea. Yeah, diarrhea and vomiting. They say, oh, food poison. It's actually COVID. And then that diarrhea comes with extreme tiredness and joint pain. 10% of people. So, and then again, some people might just have COVID by loss of smell and loss of taste. You can't taste anything, you can't smell anything. They are wondering what is going on. That is COVID. So it's good for people to know all those subtle signs. There's even some rashes in children that is COVID related. Yeah, that is caused by COVID. So it's good to watch out for all this. There are other, obviously, we know that there are other disease conditions that give the same symptoms. But remember, we also have things like malaria, typhoid, Lassa. So it's always good to check yourself. And if possible, if available, do the test to find out what you actually, what it is that you have. And like you said, many people recover from COVID without even symptoms. But that, everyone, some people don't even know they have had COVID. That is why everyone has to follow government guidelines. And what you don't want is to have COVID and then you be spreading it, or you get it from another person just because of carelessness. And again, I tell everyone, COVID is not going away anytime soon. So please be conscious, be careful, look after yourself and look after your family, and then watch out as well, in crowded places when you have people who are just coughing. You can even educate people around, so that way we can control this infection until we all get better.
So much, Doctor. We definitely will go by what you said, and I know that a lot of Nigerians are watching as we speak. Let me borrow the words of a doctor, the last things he said. COVID will not go away anytime soon. Lockdown will be lifted, yes. Economy will be revived, yes. COVID, is it going away in 2 days, 3 days, 1 month? No, we better get used to it and change your lifestyle. Ensure that I always tell people self-love is important. It's not selfish, because if you love yourself and you want to stay alive, you take care of yourself. And when you take care of yourself, your hygiene is intact. And that means you will not transmit anything to Elizabeth or Ruth or Dr. Chidi. All right, to that lovely note, I say join us again next time when we bring you another exciting moment. Doctor, thank you very much. Enjoy London. All right, bye.
Safe, yeah?
Be safe. Bye-bye.
Thank you.